Welcome back. You're watching Power Breakfast on CNBC TV18. Now, as promised earlier, here is a lowdown on what exactly Biocon's numbers were like. Ekta, a lot of back and forth in terms of calculation. Finally, the numbers were disappointing. Take us through them.
Well, you know, obviously there is this whole excise component which one has to account for, as well as the other income which is actually added on the top line now. So after adjusting for all of that, what the Biocon numbers are looking like is that it's a bit of a subdued set of numbers, especially on the top line. So, for example, our range was indicating a decline of 3% to a growth of 14%. They've come in with a decline of around 2.7%. Maximum, the consensus was going with a growth of around 7%. So that's really disappointed. Within the top line, what's disappointed? The small molecules revenue is down around 2%. We have the biologics revenue, which is flat this time. Branded formulations, where the revenue has grown around 25%. But what seems to be most disappointing is the research segment, where the revenues have declined 14%, which is basically Syngene. Margins too have come in at around 20.3 versus around 21.7%. So there's a bit of a decline which has come in on margins, despite the R&D expenditure which is expensed into the P&L being lesser on a year-on-year basis. The profit too has come in at around 127.5 crores. Remember, it has to be adjusted for an exceptional income of around 256 crores. If you adjust for that, there's a growth of around 65%. There's a strong other income component this time. So if in case you had included that in the top line, then it would have looked much better than what you would have earlier seen. The revenue would have been flat versus a decline of around 2%. So even with that, the top line is quite subdued. So overall, I expect Biocon to be a bit in the red today. We expected to see some profits being taken off the table. Commentary again will be important in terms of what happened in particular segments. And Syngene should also be in the red. Remember that last quarter there was a fire that had taken place last to last quarter. And that has resulted in a subdued set of numbers.
All right, profits to be taken off the table. Remember, Biocon has more than doubled in the last 1 year, 95-96% gains in terms of that stock. It will be very interesting. But moving on, India will be ready to launch 5G